So today we're going to be talking about the last step in making sure you have eToy onions all summer long. That's up next. Hello everyone, this is Dwayne with Edge of Nowhere Farm, and we're coming to you here today with kind of a wrap up on what we're doing with our eToy onions to make sure we have something to use for cooking all summer long. We're here at the end of June. In fact, today is 3 weeks to the day that we harvested these at the beginning of June. So what we're going to be showing you today is what you want to look for to know that these are ready to go into storage, where you want to store them, and what you want to be careful with to make sure that they're going to actually store long term. These have been sitting in our outbuilding here for the last 3 weeks. We did get a couple of monsoons, so our humidity is probably in the mid to upper 30s, maybe low 40s. So a little more humid than you would typically find, say, in June, but still very dry and very, very hot. So we've been over 100 degrees every single day. A couple things I want to point out. You'll see that these again are clumping or bunching onions. The clumps or bunches come in different sizes. We talked about that during the harvest. You could see them easily breaking apart into these little bundles. Now, some of the bundles are really small, maybe 4 or 5 separate onions, and some of them are much larger. You might have 8, 10, even 12 individual little shallot-sized onions in the bundle. You'll also see that the roots themselves are at this point completely dry, so there's no moisture left in those, and the tops are basically dry as well. You might see a little bit of green here or there, but for the most part, completely dry. So at this point, what we're going to do is go ahead and trim these up. So we're going to show you that and talk about one more thing you're going to want to be very careful with as you go to store these for use all summer long. You can see that these are almost really completely dry, the tops at least. Same thing with the roots. So all we do is just hold them like this so we see where they're bending and we know they're dead, and then making a cut there. The bottom, you can really just pull that hair off, or you can snip it with some scissors. So very straightforward. Again, where it bends, we make a cut. Back here at the hair, make a cut. Now that one's actually sticking straight out, but I can see there that it's bending. Nice and dry. And these, ready for storage. So last thing we do is we separate all these out into boxes, and we want to make sure we don't have these more than basically 1 or 2 layers deep. You want to make sure that these remain completely dry. If you get any moisture in there, you're going to get mold. We don't want that. We will be keeping these inside our house. We mentioned the temperature out here in the outbuilding. We're probably mid 90s, if not higher. A little too warm to store these. You want a cool, dry place. For us in Arizona, cool is a relative term, obviously, but our house is about 20 to 30 degrees cooler than that on any given day, so much cooler in the house. One last thing, these are ready to use, and again, they replace shallots in any meal. They take a little more time to cut up than a big bulb onion, but again, a great replacement for shallots if you leave them whole or cut them in half. You can use them again throughout the summer. They should last just fine. You may lose a bit of moisture, especially here in the desert where we're really, really dry. But by the time you get into fall, these will be ready to plant again. One last thing, make sure you keep these clumps together. If you break them apart, you're going to have the connection between each one of these little baby onions that connection is broken, it opens that up to the air and they will dry out much faster. So there you go. This is ready for all summer munching for you. And then of course, make sure you save a few of these guys for the fall to plant them again and never run out of onion. So just want to thank you for joining us today. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel. We cover a lot of things here on this newly established functioning farm and would love to see you on a regular basis. If you have any questions or comments, those go in the comment section down below. And our Amazon shop, I'll leave a link down in the description. That's a free, painless way to help support the channel. If you start with the link down below, it doesn't matter what you buy, you help to support us here. Oh, and hey, one more thing. If you guys are here in Arizona, we do plan on having these as starts available here this fall, where you can get your own, basically, never-ending eToy onion. So just want to thank you for joining us today and remind you, if we can farm on the edge of nowhere, so can you. If you have any questions or comments, those go in. You're totally distracting me.
Sorry.
Well, if you lift your shirt up, what do you expect me to do?
I'm gonna wipe my face with all the sweat.
I'm wiping my face too. It's just not the same. Do over.